Hello, everyone. This is The Amateur. Welcome to my podcast where we're here to just talk life, hobbies, politics, ideologies, what have you. And on today's episode, we're going to be getting into the Joe Rogan controversy over the N-word and his response and reactions to it all. So just to kind of begin, words are important. Words have power, and we know this. And I will say this, I'll read a couple of verses. And I know, just as a caveat, you are supposed to technically read verses in context. It's not necessarily a good thing to just read one verse alone, because it'll be like cherry picking. Oh my gosh, am I dyslexic? Cherry picking, but I'm going to do that. But you can also just go and read the full context for yourself. So it's just kind of just giving you the place to start. But anyway, so Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Proverbs 12:18, there is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Matthew 12:36, I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. Okay, and there's plenty other verses. I think that was probably the careless words, especially, is probably the blasphemy. But I mean, blasphemy, like that is like, thou shalt not blaspheme. Like, words are important and they have meaning. So like, blaspheming is pretty much saying anything negative against the truth of who God is. So like, Christian faith, biblical faith, it's like we understand that words are important. They have meaning, especially, and there is a certain level of power and intent, a power of intent when those words are being used. So I think it's something interesting to know as well, is that language is not a social construct. And I have another video that I'm going to be making about social constructs, but just understanding that a social construct is meant to be something that's an objective reality. And objective, for the Christian faith, I believe, at least, is that objective reality comes from objective truth and objective morality, which all comes from God, and language is from God. So it wasn't like, language is not a social construct, and so it was a tool that God gave us as a form of communication. But understanding that as well, because I think a recent Matt Walsh show was saying, well, he was like expressing how much, like, why can't you just say the N word versus nigga and blah 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 again? I hate saying that. Saying that word, and because it essentially means the same thing, and it's just like, to that I would say no. Like, yes, but no. So it's like something where let's go Brandon also means F Joe Biden, but it's not the same as just saying F Joe Biden, if that makes any sense. So especially with saying the F word in the phrasing of the same thing, like let's go Brandon is something that's not seen as an expletive or a curse word or, anything. And it's also something where if you have a son named Brandon and you want to cheer him on, like, let's go Brandon, let's go, So it's like, it's same sentiment, but it's a different meaning, and it doesn't, like, the weights are different. So I think that's just something to just point out.
Also see is the reclaiming of words. So like slut, B word, I don't even like to say it, hoe, all of this stuff, trying to reclaim words. And just kind of as a side note, if a word originates as a negative connotation, there's no reclaiming the word. Like, even with the N word, I don't like saying it because I know that it originates in a negative light. And so it's one of those things where either it's okay for everyone to say it, or it's not okay for anyone to say it. And I'm on the side that it's not okay for anyone to say it. And if you think it's okay for just black people to say it, but not white people, then that is racist, actually. So,
and I also, just to, like, you see the clip, I've always held that if you personally don't find it okay for someone else to say it, but you can say it, and it's based off race, that's being racist. So it's like either it's good for everybody, it's not good for everyone. For me, like I said before, like its origins, the origins of the N word are just absolutely horrible. Like, why would you use it? It's not edifying. That's for sure. So, but that's there. So we'll go ahead and roll the clip.
Yeah, saying the word.
No, you've already said
D is just like
saying.
she's calling you. It's like this boy that he's but starts calling them word. There should be a word like, especially like the word. That's about. He says guy, and they're saying allowed to use the word out the word. He couldn't say.
And so you'll see the clips and see that there is no negative intent behind just saying the word. That it was just a matter of description of either it was quoting someone or in context of like just actually like just saying nigga instead of saying the N-word again. Like I feel so uncomfortable saying that. I feel so uncomfortable saying that. But like just saying that it's a word that exists in the human dialect. It didn't have a good origin. It was definitely created, its whole essence was a negative intent. And so saying it is going to automatically have, or saying it in violation to someone is going to automatically have a negative intent. But Joe Rogan was not wrong for just simply stating it, especially as it quotes. There's no actual real violation for a white man to say the N-word versus a black person saying the N-word. It's like, but because intent behind the word matters as well. We know this. So it'd be like me trying to assault a man. I was like, well, get over here, boy. And it's like doesn't that just make you like, ugh? Like, it's just the word boy. A boy is a real thing. A boy is, a child, a male child. But that's the point. And using that word for an adult as an insult, and versus saying like, boy, come here. You know what I mean? So it's like how you say it matters, but just calling someone boy isn't necessarily the problem. You know what I mean? Or just saying the word boy is not the problem. But with the N word is like, I mean, again, for me, like personally, I don't like to curse. So like I will say the N word, I'll say the F word, the S word. I don't say the S word, though. I did learn that the S word, I don't like saying it. Whatever. It derived from the word shitend, which I thought was funny. Like I can say that word, I can't say that word. Don't question why. But the point of the matter though is, one, if you're not wrong, don't apologize. Like, I mean, you might be able to say, I'm sorry that you felt that way, because I don't want you to feel that way, but I'm not sorry that I said it because that was how you feel. And so I think that we've lost sight of that. And I think it's also something where it's like in the understanding of free speech. Like for me, and I feel like this is, I don't know if this has been stated as droughtly, but like for me, it's like I think freedom of speech, especially as it is in the United States Constitution, is more about the pursuit of truth and not necessarily the speech itself, as if that makes any sense. So it's like that's why we have that's why there are laws against defamation, libel, yelling fire in a crowded theater when there's actually no fire. So those are things that are based off lies, right? And so those are things that we try to have laws against. And so to make sure that we're saying things that are based in truth, or trying to say things that are based in truth, or and then this goes on to things where I can say I think that this is something. So like the words are used as an expression of something that I believe to be true. So it's not necessarily something that's in a true case of reality, but it's like these are just my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions. You should be allowed to express that in the way that you best see fit. And even if it might be offensive, or someone decides to take offense of the words that you're saying, but it's like, I think it's just an appropriate balance. So like things like hate speech, like we can't, again, blasphemy, we could do something where if I think this goes to Matt Walsh's theocratic dictatorship authority, or whatever he wants to call it, theocratic fascist dictatorship.
I am literally a theocratic fascist. I do indeed believe that my religious beliefs should be forced on people by the government. And not just the government, but a government headed by me as a dictator.
Or we could do something where it's, if you blaspheme Christianity, the Bible, God, jail time or fine. You know what I'm saying? So like we could do that, but it's like, no, you're going to allow the freedom of speech and allow the freedom of thought and allow the freedom to express yourself in a way that best articulates your words. And so that's how we are able to have free exchange of dialogue, which is very important. And so, yeah, so what I don't like about the N-word, particularly in the States, is that like people fear the use of the N-word more than they fear the word of God. Think about that. Just let that simmer for a little bit. So it's like it just has this unnecessary weight of power that has no business being there, and it's just a distraction. But anyway, Joe didn't do anything wrong by saying the N-word. He did do something wrong by crumbling to the mob and apologizing for something that he didn't do, or something that wasn't necessarily wrong thing. Like if he legitimately thinks it was wrong, then by all means, but it was not objectively. Those are just my thoughts. But what do I know? I'm just an amateur. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.